Joining me today to talk about his latest album, Nights in Tropicana, is none other than Cold Medina.
What's
How you
good?
doing today, my guy?
Doing excellent, bro. Thank you for having me.
Of course,
Pleasure
of
to
course.
be here.
Glad we were able to find a time to get everything
Yeah,
going.
yeah,
I know it's been
man.
busy.
Definitely, bro. But I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. So before we get into the album proper, let's talk a little bit about you.
Yeah.
So, what were some of your influences growing up? How'd you get into hip hop?
Yeah.
All sorts of stuff like that.
For sure. I mean, for me, I've always, my influences growing up, when I first started getting into hip hop, so I would say, I bounced around. Bay Area is definitely home turf, is the soil for real. But as a kid, I also moved around a lot. So I remember we were living in Chicago at the time, and Kanye West's College Dropout came out, and that album really had a really strong, impact on me, just because, at the time, when he came out, that era of rap, man, it was so much you kind of had to be a rapper. You have this very particular image. It was like the ice. Everybody had ice. Everybody was rapping about some hella gangster shit. And that shit was cool. I fuck with Dr. Dre as as a West Coast person. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with all
of
that.
course.
But for me, I'm this was so different. And then he started. His big influence he was talking about Trap Called Quest, but all they got left was this guy called West. So that kind of got me onto the tapping into the Tribe era, that golden age hip hop, you know what I'm saying? So just that 90s era, New York, Nas, Big Pun, for sure. Being Latino, Big Pun was a huge influence on me, just because he was platinum, but he was lyrical. He could do, he was versatile. So, I got into that type of music, that type of hip hop, and from the West Coast perspective, the hieroglyphics, Zion I, Souls of Mischief, all that, that wave of music really kind of influence, if I rap, that's the type of music I want to make. That's the feeling I want to give when I create, you know what I'm saying? So that was kind of the early, when I first started to get into hip hop. And then, growing up in a Latin household, I was just my mom was bumping all type of different shit, from the Ricky Martins, Mark Anthony's, the salsa, all that, Barbie, whatever you might hear at a family gathering type of thing. So I tried to, that's always something that I've carried with me, just and trying to bring that, that other cultural perspective, to the table, you know what I'm saying?
Right, just kind of a mix of everything.
Exactly.
And I mean, it shows in your music for sure.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I definitely try and showcase the versatility and because all those artists, they brought something new to the table, and that's what I like, is that fresh perspective, where they had their own sound. So that was always my goal, is to try and have my own sound and not sound like anybody else. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, most definitely. And so what exactly made you want to rap then?
Man, that's a deep question, man. I think because for a long time, I was I like to write. I started off just writing poetry, had these little notebooks, and I would just write a lot, and and I don't know, I started just doing started just regular poems, and then got into spoken word, and then as I was yo, I could, like I said, listen to Kanye and listen to these other different artists. I was okay, there's a way from you don't gotta be this super this super gangster persona to rap. You can express yourself. So for me, it was just that avenue for personal expression, honestly, and trying to you're just you're a teenager, man. You're working through a lot of identity issues and just all this stuff. So it really helped me kind of just process my experience. And then as I got older, and I started meeting producers, oh, you you got an MPC, you got a mic at your house, yo, let's go. So I just kind of fell into it, and obviously when I started off, I was I really wasn't that good. You got to work.
You got to start from somewhere.
You got to start from somewhere, and I think at a certain. But I kept working at my craft, man, and I kept getting better. And then, I don't know, doors started to open once I really found my voice, and I started doing teaching artist work as well. So that opened me up to a whole other this education and the arts, and oh shit, you don't need to be necessarily a platinum selling artist to make a living, or to consider yourself a rapper or whatever. So I think just life experience kind of gave me opened up a lot of doors when I really started to lean into it more, you know what I'm saying? So I was all right, cool, I know I got something going, let me just lean all the way in and go hard, so
yeah, most definitely. And I know you just brought up a little bit about teaching, and you work with the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts.
That's true.
Well,
correct.
you want to talk a little bit about what you got going on
Yeah,
there?
yeah, man. We have a lot of really great programs and stuff going on. So before Yerba Buena, I was working with Loco Bloco, which is an Afro Latino arts group right here in the Bay Area, San Francisco Mission District. And then I moved on with Yerba Buena, and we're doing a lot of cool stuff, man. Just giving platforms to artists. Like right now, we got a really great it's a guaranteed income program that helps. We partner with 6 different community organizations, and they selected their artists to provide $1,000 monthly payments for 18 months. So it's just like a way to help stimulate, the arts economy here.
Yeah.
It's hard out here in the Bay to be a regular person, man. Let alone being an artist. So like, just to be able to have that income for folks to just, they don't got to worry about paying rent. They can focus on their craft, or they can, maybe they can afford rent. But now I can buy a new camera, I can buy a new mic, I can get supplies. So for me to be able to like be a part of that, I think is just, an extension of just my goal as like an educator, is just to help nurture the arts, nurture the culture, and help people grow it as people, as artists. You know what I'm saying? So man.
That's really dope, because like you said, if you can get some money and still work on your art, just do it.
Exactly. And I think like
if you can provide that, that's even greater.
Facts, man. I just think about like, there's that Dave Chappelle quote where he was talking to his father about like why do you want to pursue like your craft, and he's like, or what do you consider success? He's like, well, if you're a teacher, if I can make as much as a teacher doing comedy, then I'm winning. Then I feel like, and that's how I try and that's how I look at like this, the music and the arts. It's like, of course I would like to go platinum and do big things, but I'm grateful that I'm able to like do what I do on a daily basis, and art is like woven into the everyday fabric of my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's dope too. Cause like I was just having a conversation with one of my friends the other night, and how it's like a lot of like rappers and just artists in general, a lot of them tend to be teachers, but also that's kind of like it happens inadvertently sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's that's a fact. I don't know. There's just something like like hip hop has such a it comes from this nostalgia, it comes from a history, and there's always something to, you gain a lot of wisdom, and just, it passes down. I don't know what it is, man, but it's just, I think the teaching artist hustle, especially out here, I think there's a demand for it, and so it's like, people can find they find a lane for themselves, and I really love that, you know what I'm saying, that's a dope, and they're able to give back and, nurture that next generation, which I think is really important, so. Yeah,
like the art community around here, like as much as you can help, like, it just helps in
the
long run.
Exactly. We're just building up the economy, building up the ecosystem.
Exactly. And now, one other thing, because like obviously you're Latino, how do you feel like that plays into hip hop? Like, have you run into any, I guess, people saying like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this? Like that?
I mean, I think,
because personally, I feel like hip hop tends to be pretty open. For the most part.
For sure. I agree. I think, especially this, 2022, man, it don't really matter to an extent. I think, a lot of people don't realize, like, how much influence Latinos had in the creation of hip hop culture, even though that, like, a lot of them are break dancers, so they weren't maybe necessarily on the mic or whatever. But, I think as a Latino, for the most part, especially in, like, California, or like I lived in Miami for a long time, it's like we're kind of just a part of the urban scene regardless, but I do think like to an extent is you gotta go a little bit harder than sometimes, you know what I'm saying, there is gonna be a little bit, especially like if you like, there's black Latinos, there's white Latinos, there's we all come in all shapes and colors, but so it's like when you gotta just be aware of how people see you, and so it's like you gotta know people are gonna look at you like, all right, what's this fool like? What's he really got to say? And so it's like you gotta make sure you really say that and you're gonna stand on it. But at the same time, I think with the way the climate is now, especially with like Bad Bunny being the most popular artist, like now it's kind of trendy, now it's kind of cool, now everybody wants to like kind of be a part of it. And which I think is dope, and I'm glad that like that that Latino culture is now spreading to like a more mainstream area. But I definitely do feel like in the rap game, you kind of got it. As a Latino rapper, I'm not doing reggaeton necessarily. It's like you gotta just come a little bit harder. You gotta put your chest out a little bit more and just like stand on it, because I feel like sometimes people are gonna like, they might not be sure, but I love proving people wrong, so I'm cool with like, what I'm saying, I'm cool with bringing something fresh and representing.
Most definitely. Now, getting into the album.
Yes.
Nights in Tropicana.
Yes, sir.
So, you worked with Matt Kelly,
Mm-hmm.
and he's from Miami, right?
Yeah, he's from South Florida.
So how did you guys connect there?
Yeah. So we actually met out here. So
Okay.
he was staying out here for a while. I just, one of my other homies, man, shout out to Indigo Soldier. He was DJing an event, and he just hit me up. He's like, yo, I'm DJing this event. We're going to have a cypher at there, and you should pull up
Okay.
and spit your shit. So I was like, all right, cool, I'm pulling up. So I pulled up. Matt Kelly was also, he was DJing. So a lot of these homies are all from South Florida as well. They just kind of migrated out here, and having lived in Miami, I had that connection as well with Florida and the art scene down there. So we connected at that event. He was also DJing. He was like, yeah, man, I got beats. Like my boy Indigo, he's really just more of a DJ. Like he's a lover of the culture. He actually helped, with this album. He was at some sessions and stuff. But Matt was like, yo, I'm making beats. Like if you want to, work, let's work. And so, we started getting into a regular thing of like every Monday I would go over to his crib. He play some beats. We start, just building, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it kind of got to a point where it's like, all right, we have enough of a chemistry, like what he's bringing to the table versus what I'm bringing to the table is like, we can make a full project together. Let's not just focus on doing singles. Let's really dive in. And so that's kind of how that started. And we just, ever since, man, we just been locked in.
That's dope. I mean, I've always said, like, if you can get locked in with a single producer for a whole project, it's just different.
Yeah, it is. It is. This is like, I haven't done a project with an individual producer in a long time, so it's a different energy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, not all the time, but it makes for it's really more cohesive kind of sound, and you just get on that same page and that same wavelength, and you just, build the world from there,
Right.
So.
Yeah, and that's dope. Now going into, like, starting with the title.
Yeah.
Like, not Nights in Tropicana, like, just saying it, you kind of think, like, okay, that's a little weird, like, because Tropicana, you think it's, like, super tropical and sunny all the time, but then nights, it's like, okay, so what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, is it just the dark side, or like,
Yeah.
then you look at the actual way it's spelled out, it's like nights, like, are you, like, fighting for it? Like,
Yeah, man. No, it's there's a lot of layers to it, and I think you kind of unpacked it just a little bit. Like, for us, man, like, Tropicana is just like, it's like the idea, it's like a concept, it's like paradise, it's like success, right? It's like, everybody wants to be laid up on the beach, sipping a pina colada with like a bad bitch next to you. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when you think about success, a lot of, us, we kind of see it in that way. So it's about Tropicana's like that idea of success or paradise and achieving your goals. And then nights is like, you have the dark side, like you said, there's like a dark side to paradise a lot of times too, especially like if you look at like places like Miami, you look even Cali, it's like people think it's all palm trees and good vibes, which it is, but at the same time, you might get your shit cracked like anywhere, in the town, in Miami, wherever, in the city. So it's like you also gotta have your head on a swivel. So that's also an element. And then with the K, the nights is like you gotta fight for that success too. Ain't nothing gonna be given to you. So it's just about that journey to success, that journey to achieving your goals, and like the ups and downs, the highs and lows. And that's what the album kind of tries to convey. It's like these are kind of all the emotions that you might experience as you're just, walking on your journey to achieve what you're trying to achieve, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where the title comes into play.
Oh, yeah. And then with the album itself, I know you said you set up with Matt Kelly to get everything done, but like, was there a, I guess, major theme in mind that you're trying to get across? I mean, I know we kind of touched on a lot of it there.
Yeah.
Like through the album, you kind of talk about a lot of things. Like you go into your personal life, and then you have flex tracks too.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, like what I want people to get out of the album, or just what I feel like the message is that like, man, you gotta get it, man. Nothing's gonna be handed to you, but when you go out and get it on your own, or when you set your mind to do something, it's like your mind is the most powerful thing. And if you can see it, if you can believe it, and you can create it, and you can make it happen. I think that's pretty much what it's about. It's just it's about manifestation, really manifesting that success. Like when me and Matt sat down to make this album, there was nothing, but we made it happen. You know what I'm saying? We created the world, we created the art, we created the music. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like out in the world and it's living. We did the album. I was just in Miami like a month or so ago, and we did the album release show out there. We did a couple little other little mini tour, basically you could say, a couple pop-ups and stuff like that. So it's like that's really what the album is about. It's just about manifesting your dreams and knowing that like it all, you got it. You got it in you. You know what I'm saying? And you can make it happen. You just gotta, you gotta put the work in and just be prepared for what's to come. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be, you're not gonna win all the time. You know what I'm saying? You're
Right.
gonna
There's
experience
highs and lows.
and so that's what it is about. It's just about navigating that journey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And what was I gonna say? You have a few videos that came out for
Yep.
it too, and it kind of seemed like the first two were kind of setting up like a story of
Yeah,
sorts.
yeah.
Was that like what you're trying to go for, or was there they just kind of
Oh
happened
no,
like that?
yeah, definitely, man. Like we definitely, and that was what was cool. Like we shot those in Miami with the same. With shout out to Safe House Studios. You know, we really talked them through. Like this is kind of the story, like of, you know, Tropicana. It's like, you know, we start off in holy water. We're kind of, and we look like we about to go to work, catch the bus
Right.
to work, and then it's like, nah, man, you gotta. It's kind of about like moving away from trying to get it, you know, get out of that 9 to 5 grind, or not necessarily 9 to 5, but just that daily, you know, you trying to just get by, and it's like, nah, you got to open up,
Right.
tap into your higher self and try and find some new doors and some new avenues. And so it's just, yeah, the videos kind of build on that. Like, you know, we trying to make it, it's a story, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So we trying to just bring you into that world for sure.
That's dope. And speaking of Holy Water, that's probably one of the best tracks on the album.
you,
And
man.
it's, as
I would
a
agree.
new listener, like
Yeah.
you get to learn a lot about you with that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
like it goes through a little bit of your upbringing, a little bit like
mhm.
how I guess you were like how the church was involved, like
Yep.
in religion and all
Yep,
that.
yep.
Like, that's mostly what you're trying to get across.
Yeah,
with that one,
yeah. I mean, that one was definitely like, yeah. I mean, I think that was intentional. Like as we were making that, we're like, yo, this is one of the ones that's gonna really like resonate because, yeah. I mean, I do get into like, yeah. I mean, I was like I said, most, you know, Latin culture, man. People are very religious, so I was brought up
Yeah.
in the church. You know what I'm saying? Like, got baptized right over Mission Presbyterian over there. You know what I'm saying? So that like was always kind of part of my upbringing, and so it's like, you know, for me, that song is about, yeah, like kind of coming to terms with your past and like, you know, how that sets the foundation for where you want to go. And, you know, I was just trying to just tap into like, yo, man, I'm just blessed to have been able to navigate so much and to come out of, man, just different situations and be able to be an artist. And it's like, man, I just feel so blessed to be able to like be at this place right now where I'm creating and people are actually tuning in, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So and so that I feel like that song definitely kind of is like the, if you were gonna listen to one song in the album, that song has like kind of all the vibes that the album is trying to provide. So yeah, definitely.
Sure. And then with the album itself too, like you switch a lot between rapping in English and Spanish and kind of like throwing in a few words here and there.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure that's obviously intentional, but is that something that you've been trying to do a little bit more so, or is there any other reason other than like that's just what's comfortable?
Yeah. I mean, definitely, it is something I've been trying to be more intentional about in the past few years because, you know, when I started off rapping, like I did, you know, I would do it sometimes every now and then, but then like I found when there were moments or songs or stuff that I've done that was like lean more into that, I thought I got a really good response, like from just like my cousins who were like, yo, like that's dope, bro, or like, and just even like folks, you know, just other Latinos like, yo, that's dope, bro. Like, so I saw how much it resonated, and I saw how much that like I think like people really connected with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like let me do more of that, because I feel like, you know, that's like I said, if my primos fuck with it and they like that, that's like, all right, I need to tap it, because they have a really, you know, they put me onto a lot of good music back in the day, so I trust their musical opinion to the 100th degree, like, because
sure.
so it was like, let me do more of that, because I see it resonating with my family, I see it resonating with just people that I know, so I'm like, let me be more like intentional about it. I mean, and it will come up naturally, because it's like, you know, it's just part of how I grew up, but at the same time, I think bringing that into the universe and into the music more, I think has really done a lot for me. So I'm like, I'm gonna keep going, man. And we got the deluxe edition coming out soon. We got a song that's like 90% Spanish coming, so it's gonna be yeah. So we definitely building that out a little bit, and you could definitely expect some more of that from Cold Medina in the future, for sure.
Man, that's dope. That's exciting for sure. One thing that I kind of meant to bring up a little bit earlier, I guess. Obviously, you're Latino, and do you feel like having like a Latino presence in hip hop is beneficial, like for you personally.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I mean, more like representation, I guess.
Yeah.
Because like for me, I mean, I didn't really think about that until kind of recently.
Yeah.
Because like for me, like I'm Punjabi, so like
Okay.
there's generally not a whole lot of representation outside of just like us being jokers in Bollywood movies. But then when
That's
I had when I seen Real Seek be a pretty prominent battle rapper now, like it just felt different.
Yeah, it hits different when it's like, I see it. Oh man, there's another Indian guy. I forget his name, bro. But he was doing. I met him out here actually not too long ago, bro. So it's cool. It's like, yeah, it resonates differently. Like when you see that and you can be reflected in music, and it's like, I think it's dope. And I think, like I was saying earlier, like now that like, you know, it's more being Latino. It's a lot more accepted. It's a lot more like in the music industry. People are kind of like wanting to like tap into that element more. I think it's dope, and I'm glad that like, you know, I can at least say like I've been carrying my flag forever. So it's not like
You're not riding no wave.
I'm not riding no wave. Or I'm not just trying to all of a sudden like, oh shit, like I'm Latino. Like let me like start throwing in. It's like, nah, this has been building for a long time, and so I do think it is important for folks to like see that and people to look at themselves, see themselves in the music, because it's like if you can inspire somebody, like that's the most you can ask for as an artist. You know what I mean? And so if I can inspire the next generation, especially like, yeah, I'm Latino, and I always talk about being Nicaragüense because, you know, Nicaragua, we don't really get much of any type of representation in the media in terms of like entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Like you definitely gonna see Mexicans. I'm also part Mexican, so I'm gonna definitely rep that. But like you see Mexicans, you see Boricuas, you see Dominicans. You don't see a lot of Nicaraguans. So it's like for me, it's cool. It's like, yo, are you Nicaraguense? Like, yeah, bro. It's like, oh shit. So it's like it's just cool to be able to like provide that, and it's like, yo, if I can stand on my flag and I can wave it, and then that means that'll just inspire the next generation to do so. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm all about. So I think it's great to see more Latinos in hip hop, and it's dope seeing like, you know, for a long time, you notice too, like with like Chicano hip hop, it was kind of like off to the side. It was like its own little world. It was its own community. It was its own kind of industry almost. And
yeah, cats like Chino XL and
exactly, like Kid Frost and like, you know, fools like that. And then now it's like you see more just like artists of all cultures trying to tap in and be a part of it. And I think that's, you know, that's what music is all about, is like bringing people together, bringing cultures together. So I mean, I think the more we out here with it, the more crossover we're gonna see. So
yeah, most definitely. And that's kind of the thing with hip hop too. It's always like you don't have to stick to one particular sound. You can always experiment. There's no rules to any of it.
Nah, there's not. There's really not. You gotta experiment to grow. You know what I'm saying? You gotta like you know, try new things. So why not?
Right. Know? And if you're experimenting with things that's like close to you, it makes it even easier.
Exactly. If it's something that you've been, you know, you grew up with, you're gonna be able to tap into it in a different way, and you're gonna be able to make it your own because it you know, it helped form you. You know what I'm saying? And so because it helped form you, you're gonna have a different appreciation and a different outlook, even from like your parents, because you're bringing in you're bringing in that influence, plus you're bringing in like whatever other like hip hop street influences that you might have going on. So I think it's cool to just see that, man. You know what I mean?
That's dope. It's always exciting,
for sure.
Especially like because that connects to what you're doing with Yerba Buena and basically everything else you're doing outside of music.
Yeah. But it's all connects, man. They all relate, and I think like that's like, to me, like that's what I've been grinding for a long time. So to see it all kind of like manifest, man, it's a beautiful thing.
Most definitely. No, it's great to see all that for sure. Now, I guess final notes on the album. Is there? I mean, I know you said like the main message and everything is like to be able to manifest things and get stuff out of it. Is there anything else that you want other people to really pick up on, like in particular with like individual songs or anything like that?
For sure. I mean, you know, Die Rich, man. Die Rich is, we got a remix coming for that, and I feel like, you know, that song, I think a lot of people are gonna look at it at face value, like, oh, it's just like a turn-up song, but it's like we talking more about like we trying to die rich so we can leave generational wealth, so we can pass down that knowledge, so we can build a legacy for ourselves. So I feel like definitely like tap in with that song. I feel like it's the hottest song right now on the, like in terms of like people really fucking with it. So we got a remix coming for that, and I think that it's just gonna showcase even more like what we trying to do. We trying to really like build a legacy off this music, try to build a legacy off this art, because at the end of the day, when I'm gone, at least I'm gonna have this I'm gonna have, you know, this project to stand on. I'm gonna have, you know, my art to stand on. So it's like I feel like people just need to really like, you know, tap in with that energy, and I think, you know, yeah, man, that's really all I could say is like, it's all there for you. It's all laid out. You know what I mean? You just gotta make it happen. I think that's kind of that's what I want people to take away. It's like, man, I could do it too. I could, you know, it's kind
of like an inspiration.
Exactly. And there's music for all moods on there. I think that's what
Yeah.
also people like, you know, can understand. I want people to know too. It's like whatever type of vibe you're trying to get into, whether you're just trying to like, you know, chill and smoke, you're trying to turn up, you're trying to like, whatever it is you need, you're trying to meditate, like, we got it for you. You know what I'm saying? We got that for you. There's something for everybody on the album. So whatever your mood is, whatever your mindset is a song on there for you. So download the album, get that on, put that on your playlist, because I guarantee whatever time of day, whatever mood you in, I guarantee you I got a song for you on that project.
Sure. I mean, you heard them. Make sure you take a listen. I mean, it's on every streaming platform.
Everywhere.
Make sure you save it, because I know saving it and actually downloading it helps a little bit more.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
And you got the deluxe coming soon.
We got the deluxe coming very soon. We got new music videos coming very soon, man. It's a lot of work going on. Nice and Tropicana, Cold Medina, Matt Kelly, Good Problems. We active. We out here, man. Appreciate you.
All right, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Much love.
It's been great.
It's been wonderful.
All right, you heard it. Make sure you check out the album. It's out there.
It's out here, man. And cop a t-shirt while you at it. You
Oh yeah,
feel
most
me?
definitely.
Limited edition, so, you know, tap in while you can. It might, by the time this drops, they might already be sold out, but, you know, hit us up. We might got something for you.
Sure, I'm gonna have to get one too.
For sure, for sure, for sure. We got you, man. We got you.
Bet.